Okay, so while I have the camera out here, I just kind of figured I would talk about Rough Riders, like build quality, pretty much. Their fit and finish, or whatever you want to call it. Rough Rider is a company that makes traditional knives, and I think they actually make some modern knives now too, although I wouldn't buy one of their modern knives. I only would buy their traditional slip joint pocket knives because that's pretty much what I'm interested in. If I'm gonna buy a modern folder, I'm gonna buy a more expensive knife from a well established brand that I know is gonna be a good knife. So Rough Rider makes inexpensive slip joint knives. They're owned by Smoky Mountain Knife Works, and the knives are made in China. Um, China is the source of a lot of hate right now because of the COVID-19 thing. Um, but this is a conversation about pocket knives, so I won't get into that. So anyway, Rough Rider knives made in China. Traditional slip joint knives. Well, this one's not technically a slip joint, but traditional knives. Um, the first Rough Rider knife that I ever bought was a purple Trapper. I don't have that anymore. I gave it to a friend because I bought a case Trapper, and at that point I was just kind of like, why do I still have this? So I gave it to my friend that I give all the knives that I don't want to. Um, so I don't have that knife anymore. But I also bought this just because it's interesting. It's like a Rough Rider, it's like a locking one-arm Barlow thing. I've done a review on this knife. You can look for it on my channel. Maybe if I remember, I'll link it in the description of this video. But I've done a review on this. You got bone covers. Got a shield that says Rough Rider there. You got a blade with a long pull with a match strike nail nick, like most Rough Rider knives have. And this blade shape is described as a razor blade shape, but this is a one-arm shape blade too. The front of this knife was designed so that people with only one arm could open it on stuff like their, like a belt loop or like a pocket or like the edge of a table or something. You grab it on there and supposed to be able to open up the knife like that. Let me see if I can demonstrate this, but I'm just going to use this other knife here. Let me see if I can do this. This might not work. It might not work. Let's see if I can. Okay, that's not going to work. But basically, like, you grab onto this little thing here. It's kind of hard to do with this knife because it's like, it's kind of slippery. Like it's not the best design for actually using it as a one-arm blade. But if you try really hard, you can get it to work. And of course, it is a lockback, which means you have to unlock it to close it. And this knife's pretty well put together, except for, where is it? Right there. There's a crack in the bone on this side, right near that pin there. And I've carried this knife a few times, and I haven't had that come loose yet. So I don't know how much of a problem that actually is. It's just, some issues with the fit and finish. It would be nice if my camera would focus on it. I don't know if it is or not. But you should be able to see that crack there. But that's the only real issue, fit and finish with that knife. Yeah. So, the next Rough Rider knife I bought, this one, which is a really cool design, and they call it like the coal miner or something. That's a really cool design. I like it. It's got, this huge sheep's foot blade here. It says coal miner on it, which I could do without. But I like the blade itself, and it's got this gigantic pen blade. The knife has half stops, and it feels pretty good overall. And then you look at this side. You look at that edge grind. I've heard people complain about Case's edge grinds and Benchmade's edge grinds. Look at that edge grind. That's disappointing. Of course, edge grinds aren't really something that bother me that much, but that is pretty bad. Like, generally speaking, if an edge grind's a little off, especially on like a case knife or something, like, I don't care. It's not that big of a deal. But this is like way off. Like, that's like your normal edge grind, and then there's that. So yeah, that was disappointing. And then let me see here. Which one is it on? Oh yeah. And then look at how this scale is fit to this liner here. That's pretty bad too. So this is the most disappointing fit and finish that I've gotten from a Rough Rider knife so far. And I actually have a Rough Rider knife on order right now. So we'll see what that one's like when I get it. But this is a really cool knife. I really wish it would have came with, a better edge grind and without that big old gap there between the liner and the cover. But again, bone covers, call them scales. They're covers. Well, I love the sheep's foot blade. Sheep's foot blade is, I think, one of my favorite blade shapes. So I love sheep's foot blades. I honestly could do without the pen blade, but I don't mind it. And it's a really comfortable knife to hold in either grip here. The sway back grip like this was designed to be held like this. But it's comfortable holding it either way. I've only carried this, I think, one night, because it just doesn't necessarily make me all that happy with those, fit and finish issues that this knife has. And then my most recent Rough Rider knife, other than the one that I currently have coming, which isn't here yet, obviously, is this Stockman, because I thought it looked interesting on Amazon, and I had a little bit of money left over to buy something, so I decided to get this. Stockman, 3 blades. It's got sheep's foot. Of course, your main clip point blade, and then the useless blade, the spay blade. Spay blade, I think, is the thickest blade on this knife. But look at all three of those blades. It's not gonna freaking focus enough for me to show you here. Wow, my camera really does not like the reflection coming off of those blades, I guess. But anyway, all 3 of these blades are very thin. And, that's not necessarily a problem, but with the steel that they use, the blades flex a whole lot. Like, it's like pretty bad in my opinion. As for, like, how much the blades flex because of how thin they are. Probably not a real issue, and I'm sure the knife cuts really well. I haven't carried it yet. I probably should, but just with the blades being that thin and everything, I just felt kind of weird about carrying it. I probably should just carry it. But this knife doesn't really have any fit and finish issues really. There is a slight gap here between the liner and the back spring. If I can get it to, I'm not going to get it to. It's going to keep shining light on it, and then it's not going to want to focus because my camera's an idiot. You can kind of see it there. There's a slight gap, but slight gaps don't really bother me. So yeah, this knife's well put together. Probably the best well put together out of these 3 knives, but I just haven't carried it yet because with how thin those blades are, I feel like I'm going to break one. Now, of course, if I'm not using it improperly, I shouldn't break one, but for whatever reason, I always have that thought in the back of my mind that with how thin the blades are, I'm going to break them. So this is just a little video about Rough Rider in general. I don't hate Rough Rider knives. I don't particularly love Rough Rider knives. They're just kind of one of those things where, like, if I order something, like, especially off of, like, Amazon, and I have, like, $10, $15, $20 left over, and there's, like, an interesting Rough Rider knife that looks interesting or whatever, I'll just add it onto my order. That's pretty much the reason why I have Rough Rider knives, except for this one. I actually did seek this one out. Or, I won't say I seeked it out, but I did. I actually think I bought both this and the Purple Trapper at the same time. And I think that I actually went looking for Rough Rider knives that time. But as for these two, these were just added on to another order that I wanted to, use the whole of it like a gift card or something. And, I just figured I would add these on because they had free shipping. And I was like, oh, it's like $13. So, yeah, Rough Rider knives, they're all right. They're not horrible. They're not fantastic. If you're looking for a knife to introduce you to, like, the idea of a slip joint knife, or, if you just really like looking at weird patterns, Rough Rider does a lot of patterns that nobody else does. I've never seen a knife like this before. And, again, I haven't really seen any, like, Case or anybody do a knife like that. So, if you want to try out weird patterns, or you just want to try out the idea of a slip joint, Rough Rider has so many different knives to look at, and they're all pretty affordable. Like under $20, most of them. So yeah, that's gonna be it for right now, and I hope you guys have a good day.